coming up, as I said, with new questions to ask these species, for these specimens. For example, some years ago, it was discovered that a lot of the fishes in the freshwater streams and lakes and so on in North America, the fishes had mercury in them. Mercury is poisonous. You don't want to eat fish with mercury in them. So a lot of these damn pointy-headed environmentalists started, accusing industry of being responsible for putting this mercury in the environment and poisoning the fishes. And the industry said, no. For all you know, these fishes in North America have always had mercury in them. For all you know, it's normal. It's the normal state for these fishes to have mercury in them, and so just get off our back. Well, it just so happened that in the natural history museums of North America, there were millions and millions of pickled fish collected from all the different lakes and all the different rivers and all the different streams over a period of literally hundreds of years. And so some people decided to do a little research on this whole business. And so they'd go around to all these museums, and they'd take little samples of the tissue from all these fishes, and they'd see how much mercury were in those tissues. The guys that collected those fishes had no idea anybody was ever going to do that. Just like the guys that collected these mice had no idea anybody's ever going to get DNA out of them. Well, they said, okay, let's make a map of North America. And every place, and for each year, for each place, every time we find a fish with mercury in it, we're going to put a black dot on the map. Okay? So, here's the map for, let's say 1790. A map. And we got so many specimens in the museums collected in 1790, and we're going to have places that mercury in a fish from 1790, we're going to put it out on the map. I didn't find any, so there are no dots on the map. So they moved it up, let's say, 10 years toward the present time. Still no dots on the map. But finally, they started picking up dots on the map. And the dots on the map were real close to these factories. And as time went on, you could see the dots spreading, getting thicker and thicker and blacker around these factories and spreading out like that. And you can take a picture of each one of these maps and make a time-lapse movie out of it. Just project it, and you'd see it happening. These centers, these nuclei of black dots spreading out from all these factories. Now the guys that collected those fishes had no idea anybody was ever going to do that with them. So they keep coming up with new questions to ask the specimens. Another example. Some years back, it turned out that there was DDT that was killing off birds in this country, especially big predatory birds that were at the end of long aquatic food chains for reasons. And what it would do is that the DDT, if the birds were eating the DDT, it affected their calcium metabolism. And so they would lay eggs where the shell was real thin, until it got to the place that the shell was so thin that when the mama bird sat on the egg, it would break. Okay? And you can't raise very many baby birds like that. And so people got curious, and they said, we wonder which species of birds are most affected by this eggshell thinning phenomenon. Which parts of the country is it the worst? What's the history of the eggshell thinning phenomenon every place in the country? And also, what was the original healthy thickness for each kind of bird that we can use as a benchmark, as a standard against which to measure the degree of eggshell thinning for that species. So a bunch of guys came through this collection, every other collection of birds in North America, and they had a big collection of eggshells. There's a special room back over that way if it's still there, and they didn't move. The room was over that way. A whole room full of eggshells, or eggs with a hole punched in each end, and somebody moved stuff. Anyway, somebody came through here, and they had a little gizmo that enabled them to measure the thickness of the shells, all these eggshells, and they came up with a great big wonky monograph that told you anything you ever wanted to know about eggshell thinning in North American birds. So this is the kind of stuff. But the primary reason that the specimens are here is so that taxonomists, people who classify organisms, can figure out how many species of animals there are in the world and how to tell them apart and where they live and where they don't live. And a lot of people think we've already got that worked out, and this is not true at all. Even for mammals, there are, I would say that there, I don't know how many new mammals, species of mammals are named here, 20-some, I don't know. It's routine. And sometimes they're kinds of animals that have never been seen before, and some kinds are animals that there are specimens in collections. And there may have the specimens, I was talking earlier today about how you can have fossil specimens in collections for years and years and years, and nobody's studied them yet. Not because anybody's being irresponsible, but because, you know, there are a lot more specimens than there are paleontologists. Well, somebody might catch some kind of a specimen that might sit here in the museum for 60 years before somebody really seriously studies the thing. But if they want to, here it is. And they may decide it's a new species. Or it's interesting in some other way. And so this stuff is preserved for perpetuity. That's the idea. This stuff is prepared in a variety of ways. The whole animal can be pickled, or the animal can be skinned and stuffed and the skull saved, or the animal can be skinned and stuffed and the skull and the rest of the skeleton saved, or just the skeleton saved, or the animal skinned and the carcass pickled, the remaining. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different combinations. It depends upon what it is you're interested in looking at. For example, some people have tried to figure out how to classify animals by the more follow the shapes of their stomachs. You know, well, you're not going to get that from skins and skulls. Okay. Here are a bunch of birds that have just been stuffed. These are little bird cases across the hallway over here. That's excellent. And yesterday when I was here, this peregrine falcon was still all in one piece. It hadn't been skinned and stuffed yet, but now it has been. So these have been dried out and they're waiting to go into cases, and these are sitting here with the pins and the cotton so that they'll dry the way we want them. By the way, the ones from that when I used to be a curator. I used to be a curator of mammals at the Smithsonian. And every now and then some guy would call me. Oh, yeah, is this a curator of mammals? Yes, I am. Well, I'm down here at Joe's Bar and Grill in Calgary, and I got a bet with a guy here at the bar, and I was wondering if you can straighten it out. Is it true that possums breed through the nose? Oh. So that's why they always phrase it. And what this means is this. Various country folk have noticed that male opossums have a forked penis.
Oh, they don't notice.
And this has given rise to the superstition that the male copulates with the female in her nostrils.
I don't think anything else is
one head per nostril. And he ejaculates. Oh, listen, this is nothing. Anyway. Anyway, that he supposedly has his way with her. He ejaculates into her nose. And then he wanders off. And then she sticks her nose up into her bottom and blows it.
What?
And that's how she gets pregnant. And they really believe this.